Chat Sidebar with Steve McDougal, the CEO of 3Degrees. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So I've known about your organization for a long time. You've done a lot of work with some pretty amazing energy-related deals. Or in aggregation, you really helped broker the first one of those big corporate buyer deals that we saw come out. And more recently, you've gotten into some interesting transportation projects. So I wanted to ask you first, why that shift in focus or that addition in focus?
Yeah. So our mission has been to make it possible for businesses and their customers to take urgent action on climate change. And our focus traditionally had been in the electricity sector, working with companies to design and implement renewable energy strategies via renewable energy certificates, virtual PPAs, green tariffs with their utilities, identifying opportunities for on-site solar and whatnot. And we've made great progress in that area, and it's been incredibly rewarding and exciting to see what's happened there. But our customers are now realizing that the next big wave, the next frontier, if you will, is starting to tackle the transportation emissions. And we think we're really well positioned to be able to help them to do that.
Well, can you tell me a little bit more about your partnership and the work you're doing with Lyft?
Sure. So using a product that has been around a very long time, carbon offsets, which at root are a mechanism to fund money to projects that reduce greenhouse gases. Lyft has essentially has offset all of the miles driven for their rides worldwide by supporting projects through carbon offsets. Projects that are wind and solar, that are forest conservation, as well as projects that support the changing of manufacturing processes that reduce greenhouse gases in the auto parts manufacturing sector. So I give them a lot of credit for being a real pioneer in this area, and they see this as a bridge to ultimately electrifying their fleet on autonomous vehicles and things of that nature.
Yeah, and the Etsy deal also strikes me as incredibly intriguing and just different, unique. It's a very unique statement, especially in that sector, the retail sector, which is getting really knocked for contributing to the transportation issue. So I'm kind of curious about the backstory on that. And, what was the most challenging aspect of getting that deal together?
So first of all, I also commend Etsy for their leadership in this area, because they don't control how products are shipped. But they have their partners who are shipping goods all over the world, and Etsy realized that they could actually take some action themselves to address the impact of all of that shipping. And as Josh Silverman, CEO of Etsy, would say, for roughly a penny a package, they're offsetting the emissions for all of that shipping through similar kinds of projects, forestry and other types of projects. But I wouldn't say it was that difficult. It was really a matter of Etsy's taking leadership to want to take action in that area.
I see that when I go on and buy things on this. I mean, it's very transparent and obvious to me as a customer. And I think that's also a really great element of the program. I think sometimes companies don't talk enough about what they're doing.
And I would just add that they've also found that their conversion rates have increased since they launched the program. So it's resonating with their customers.
That's wonderful. Okay, so if we were speaking to you next year in San Jose at Verge 20, what would you have liked to seen happen? Like what success metrics would you like to see, or what other programs would you like to see happen?
So one of the key, the exciting areas in transportation has been in California because of the low carbon fuel standard. And a year from now, my hope is that there would be a whole bunch of other states that have adopted standards that are similar, because the LCFS, as it's known, is making a real difference. And so, number one, my hope is that other states that are looking at this have actually enacted them, because right now some of the biggest action on low carbon fleets is happening in California and China. So we should have a lot more going on in the U.S. So that's number one. Secondly, my hope is that, as they have in the electricity sector for renewable energy, that we are seeing, by then we will have seen large corporates setting some real legitimate targets for implementing low carbon fleets. And we haven't really seen that as we have in this electricity sector. And then last of all, because of those first two things, that we will have seen some of those corporate customers, their corporate fleets, announcing not just dozens of low carbon vehicles being launched, but hundreds and thousands of them being deployed by that time.
Wow.
And I think that's a realistic expectation by then.
Look forward to that.
On that optimistic note, thank you very much for joining us.
Great.